Hello again. Welcome back to my channel. This is Melody with Your Healthy Ascension. Today I am talking about daylight savings time. Dun dun dun. The real reason I'm talking about this is because, yes, it just happened, and man, it messed me up. I'm wondering how many of you out there felt off when we had to set our clocks back an hour. What does that do to you? So, I'm going to be talking about all that today in a brief video. I learned about the truth. I looked it up and saw the whole history dating back to 19 16, 18. I know around there, 1913, all of those times. So the Federal Reserve Act was 1913, and I'm pretty sure daylight savings time was 1916 or 1918. Anyways, it's been on and off, on and off, on and off through our history, dating back and reinstated again in World War II. So whoever's in charge of it, has their own motives. A lot of people believe was implemented because of farmers. However, by moving the time an hour later for daylight savings time, that actually negatively impacted farmers who needed the morning sun. So, daylight savings time, moving the clock forward an hour or back, sorry, it's so confusing. Anyways, in the summer months, we have an hour of daylight at the back end. So, there's more daylight when you get off. That's why the summer evening seems so long. The time we just entered is the default time, the natural time. So it feels off. It, I always complain about it. Like, whoa, it's only 4 o'clock right now, but it's getting dark and it does not feel like what 4 o'clock should feel like. But this is actually the normal time. So I just learned this, and this is the standard time, and we've been used to daylight savings time. Anyways, I'm rambling here. The point of it all is, why do we still move the clocks? Why do we have two different times? The science is all there. It messes with people. We are animals. Animals love routine. Just look at your cat or dog if you try to change their food time. And by us moving our clocks back an hour, they're still on the schedule of where they just were, expecting their food at the same time, even though we're now operating at a different time. So I view this as pure psychological warfare. I really do. I don't see any reason besides it but to mess with us twice a year. Just when you're getting in the sync of things, just when you think you know, you're there's always something that is gonna happen each month to distract us, to make us, you know, shop, do something. And I'm gonna touch on this in another video, but I mean, for real, the Gregorian calendar is made up so you never get a break from a holiday or some kind of thing. Every single month has something that you're supposed to celebrate. And a lot of normal families and people like that. They like looking forward to something to celebrate or to get, time off. But there's something, some holiday to force you to spend money or feel obligated to do something every single month of the year. Then you throw in daylight savings time, and that's going to mess up your natural flow twice a year. And so I'm pissed. I can't stand the changing of the clocks. I think it is pure psychological warfare, and I wonder what we can do about it, or why there's not more people talking about it, or if they are, how do we make this go mainstream? And this is what I wanted to talk about because last year on the West Coast, people voted to end it, or to stop the clock change, and it passed in the Senate, and then the House blocked it. So now the political debate is about whether to stay on daylight savings time indefinitely or to stay on standard time indefinitely. And in the meantime, they're keeping it as is. So anytime there's it's politicized. We have these politicians who never have the people's best interests in heart, deciding, and they said there was more important things to discuss than to get daylight savings time figured out this past year, this November, when it was supposed to be figured out. So they've prolonged it again, so we go through another year of the psychological warfare. And it may not seem like a big deal to some of you guys. However, when you've been learning about the controllers of our government and the world banks and the controllers of the world for quite some time, you really see that nothing is by accident. There is no, I would say, coincidence. The fact that it has been so unpopular, daylight savings time, you can read about the history on any website, the Smithsonian, you can go and read for yourself about the history of it, how many times it was removed, and then Richard Nixon brought it back, and yada, yada, yada. So you can look at all the history, but the truth is we're still dealing with something that has been unsuccessful. They said it didn't do what it was set out to do, which was reduce energy consumption. It actually created more energy consumption because now people were driving more after work during the longer daylight. So it has failed on so many different levels, yet we're still observing the clock switch back. So why? If over 70% of people who've taken polls are not in favor of the clock switch back, why are we still going through it? If it just passed unanimously in the Senate to end it, why do we still have it this year? It's just another year. So, anyways, this is just the tip of the iceberg, but it shows that we are always being manipulated to some degree. And that this is what's going to lead me into my next video about the Gregorian calendar and the 13 moon calendar that I feel that we should be studying and learning from and moving back into to uh to be in sync with nature, our truth as more animalistic, are in tune with the natural world. It comes down to it that we are so out of sync with the natural cycle of things that we don't even know. Like, I don't even know what the real time is anymore, and the real time feels very off. So the fact is there's certain states that are voting to leave daylight savings time, the time we have in the summer, permanently, and there's other states who are voting to return to standard time. And I'm all for leaving it on one time. I'm more for the natural time. So having the sun at high noon, whichever time is going to be the sun highest in the sky at noon, would be the optimal timeline for time for us as humans and animals and part of this natural world. So that is the standard time. And then I am for moving away from the manipulated Gregorian calendar and for us to get in sync with true calendars. So I will be creating another video about the 13 moon calendar that I have been starting to study and the powers of synchronicity that involves. So, anyways, that's it for my rant on daylight savings time. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you like daylight savings time, if you don't like it, if you would vote to stay on standard time or if you would vote to stay on daylight savings time. I'm very curious what you think. So let's have a discussion and let's try to get this discussion out there more. I mean, I've been talking about hating this clock change for over 6 years. I have signed so many petitions to end it. And yeah, hopefully we're getting our voices finally heard to address this topic. I think Florida's voting on it this year. So let's go, people. Let's end the psychological warfare. Okay, cheers. Talk to you later.